What's the worst Sonic era? Well, it's probably not what you're thinking of, and today I'm going to be talking about how the modern era of Sonic might be his worst one yet. I hope you guys enjoy, and with that, let's get straight into it. Unleashed, Colors, Generations, Lost World, and Forces. They're all games that stretch from 2008 to 2017, and together they build up what we call and know the modern era. No, Frontiers isn't here, and stick around till the end of the video to find out why. Now, let's look at what the other eras are. I'm going with the classic, adventure, dark, and of course, the modern eras. Now, when anyone looks at the worst era, they almost always go to pick the dark era, but honestly, the storybook games were really fun. Without things like 06, the dark era is really unique, and the lore-oriented storybook games genuinely felt special. I've actually always wanted another game. Now, looking at the modern era, we've got another pretty solid lineup. Firstly, Sonic Unleashed. It had great boost stages, and gave us roughly 40% of the game as the Werehog, which I didn't ask for. You didn't, and no one did. Might just be me, but I felt like the Werehog was a little bit extra. Cool character, but pretty unnecessary. Next up, Colors. Now personally, this is a standout of the era. Being my main childhood Sonic game, Colors got me into it, so I can't put any flame onto it. Moving on, Generations. Now, I know its reputation within the franchise, but to me, it kind of feels like people enjoy it for the nostalgia. After all, it was the big point for the split between classic and modern. It brought back tons of old stages and introduced cool new mechanics. I get why it's got a place in people's hearts, but to a lot of people, it doesn't stick the same landing. Now, next up, Sonic Lost World, which felt like it tried to copy Mario Galaxy and 3D World at the same time. If you want a full video talking about why Lost World failed, click on the top right of the screen. Anyways, looking at it as a Sonic game, it definitely fell off. And then there's Forces. Look, I've talked good and bad about Forces. It came out in 2017. At the time where everyone was dying for a huge new Sonic game. It was up against Sonic Mania, a game made by fans on a literal budget, yet it got completely destroyed. Yeah, the big mainline flagship Sonic game got overshadowed by the tiny classic side game. At that point, it's not a stumble, it's a problem. And that's honestly the root of the modern issue. It was the period where Sega tried to fix everything. Colors changed the tone from serious to fun. Lost World was an experiment in level design, and Forces was just putting everything back to basics. The other eras all had cohesive design and goals, which made them stronger than ever, but this was mainly just ideas being thrown out there. Now I can already hear the comments coming up. 06 sucked. It was unplayable, loading times were horrible, etc. Now look, you're right. It's probably worse than the modern era. But that's one game. A decade of mid-games definitely does worse than that. And looking at the legacy of these games, the Adventure series had so much to leave behind. Shadow's story, the Chao Garden, Rouge the Bat becoming a fan favorite character, and Crush 40's epic songs. The modern era has wisps, and even then, those are slowly drifting out too. Here's the bigger issue, what it did to the franchise. So the classic era built up Sonic's simple identity. The adventure era kind of involved it, it expanded on it and pushed it to its limits. The dark era tried to change it and make it a little bit more serious, but it still kept a similar tone. The modern era? Nah, they rewrote it several times. For example, Colors Sonic and Forces Sonic feel like completely different characters. There was just nothing to keep these games similar, but now the elephant in the room, Sonic Frontiers. I think everyone agrees that Frontiers was the saving grace of the modern Sonic franchise, and I get where they come from. But to me, it feels like the beginning of something new rather than a continuation of the modern era. More of a brand new identity for Sonic. And that's because they reinvented the wheel with combat, an open world, and deeper lore. I feel like that warrants a checkpoint for the franchise, like a new age. And that's why I haven't talked about it when I think of the modern era. To me, it's part of the next generation. You might call it the fresh era or the open era. and I'd consider other things like Sonic Prime to be part of it too. And overall, that's just why I think the modern era didn't land properly. It had good ideas, but not a great execution. Now remember, this is all just my opinion. If you think another era was worse, let me know down below in the comments why. I'd love to hear. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.